Next is the inevitable discovery doctrine. Okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated. Hot pursuit's pretty straightforward. But this one is a little bit more complicated. It says that evidence obtained in violation of the due process requirements may not necessarily be excluded at trial if the government can show that it would have inevitably discovered the evidence by alternative law enforcement methods. This doctrine originates with a case called Arizona versus Fulminante. Very interesting case, which actually involved statements made, not physical evidence, but statements made by the accused. In fact, to be even a little bit more precise, it involved a coerced confession. The police coerced Arizona law enforcement. I don't know if it was the city of Phoenix or the city of Tucson or whatever, but police officers actually coerced a confession out of the suspect under physical duress. And when the defense attorney argued, and one would think that he would have every reason to believe he would prevail on this argument, that the statements made by the defendant confession were inadmissible at trial, the trial judge admitted the statements nonetheless that could be used by the prosecution on the grounds that the state was able to show that they would have inevitably discovered sufficient evidence to convict him by other means. That they had some search warrants lined up that they were ready to serve, for example, and they would have, if they had served those warrants, they would have obtained more than enough evidence to get a conviction. And so the Supreme Court said on appeal that those statements don't necessarily have to be suppressed at trial if the government can sufficiently make that argument. So this is a 1991 case, by the way. So here we are going through the 80s and 90s, and you can see that pendulum is really swinging now back in the direction of law enforcement pretty decisively.